Hi, it's Greg here. We're at the Shenzhen high-speed rail station in the Luohu district. As you can see behind me, if you want to take a round behind me, there we are. This is a district very close to Hong Kong. And we'll take a look around here. We are going out to Dongguan to meet with Dongguan Kecheng Communications to go and look at how our network cables are built. So come and join me and ride high-speed train about half an hour north in the Dongguan. See you there. Okay, before we go into the factory, I thought I'd just explain what we're going to see. And today we're going to see the building of a cable, Cat6 cable, which is this one here, which is 4 pair, plus a separator, plus the cover on the outside. This is unshielded twisted pair. This is Cat6. They can also do Cat6A, which is shields on each of the pairs, plus a shield on the outside. Now the difference between the two is this one is used for commercial applications and residential applications as we move away from Cat5. So this will both will support up to 1 gigabyte per second, but this one is rated to 55 meters in a single run, and this one's rated to 100 meters in a single run. And the reason is trying to eliminate crosstalk between these pairs of wires, and so Cat6 shields it that way to improve the performance of it. So you'd use Cat6 in high-end applications such as data centers, maybe factories where you've got some noise going on the outside, high-powered applications, medical devices, so on and so forth. Points is a stepping up when you get to fiber, but obviously this is cheaper than fiber to use. Wi-Fi 6, smart lighting, and 8K surveillance cameras and things like that. This is for commercial and residential applications. It's unshielded. It's now pretty much the standard that we use, and it's good for 55 meters, which is for most offices and homes is good enough for what we want to do. Now in terms of the shield, when you're doing a shield, you would also use a shielded connector like this one here. So, and then you would terminate that into the shield there. Whereas this one here, which is unshielded twisted pair, you would use a standard connector. An example like this one here. That's the difference between the two. So this factory does a whole range of different cabling depending upon your needs. But this is the standard one, and this is the one that we're going to see. So let's head on. Okay, so we're coming into the factory. This is actually on the 3rd floor of the building. To our right is the separator or the filter that goes between each of the pairs. So it's crossed over, she says. So some customers purchase just rolls of completed Cat6, and that's the rolls are in there. This is a local brand. Okay, so we're in the factory. This is the extrusion process, so these are called extrusion lines, where the coating of the wires is done, and we'll take a look at that. On this floor there is, I think, 4 lines, and we'll go to the starter one that's working. So here's the extrusion process. These are the PVC pellets that go into the machine that are heated and then coat the wire. Here's the copper. So depending upon what the requirements are, their strands are twisted together. You can't see it in the camera, but it's there, and it comes into the extrusion head, which is a die. This is where the color is applied, and in the case of 2 color, then there's 2 plastic PVCs going to enter in the die. So that's known as the extrusion head with a die, and they have different dies depending upon what they're manufacturing at point in time. So which we're seeing a Cat 6. That's a 6. You see the hopper. So what's important is the speed is kept constant. So it's got to be, it has to enter the die at a certain speed. Now this is the bath, where obviously the plastic is cooled down and hardened in the bath. And there's an example of orange and white. That one's not operating at the moment. So we come down the bath. And here she said that it just cools it down and hardens it. Then we come down. That, I believe, is a drying box, and then above it is a thing called a capstan. And its job, as we'll see in a second, its job is to maintain the speed. That right in the front there is a speed monitor. Is to maintain the speed differential, or control the speed differential between when it enters in the die, which requires a different speed, than when it is rolled onto the rolls. So the speed monitor adjusts the speed of which it exits onto the roll, and we'll see that in a second. That's the speed measuring. And it passes to those rolls there. Okay, so here's the speed of the wire, as we were discussing before. Let's measure that. And that controls the speed in which it moves onto these reels. So this is one color green. Now I'm asking here where the colour's applied, which I've already said is up the front by the dye. So either one colour or two colour in the dye. Yeah, so there's a sequence they go through in producing which wires. And then down here is all the different rolls that they've got that have come through that step of the process, the extrusion step of the process. And the hopper. There are 4 lines on this floor. And there is another line which is not operating at the moment. Okay, we're up to the next stage, and this is creating the pairs, wire pairs. So if you look inside this machine, on one side is a single color, so a solid color, and on the other side, which we're going to go around, is the white with the stripe. I don't know if you can see that there. I think we're brown. I think this is brown. So what happens is they are then twisted together, and the result is you can see that there, is a reel that comes out the bottom. We'll see that in a second. The reel is removed from the bottom, these reels here. So there's just a completed reel. And they've got running, there's 10, I think, 10 machines running, creating these twists into rolls, and we'll see these rolls in a sec. Of course, to get it right requires a lot of precision in the tension on the wire to get it right. It has to be under tension all the time. And you'll see some results on the left hand side. You see these results there of rolls completed. You see showing the finished roll. Oh, here's an example of the finished rolls. You see them there. They're finished there. They're actually where that in the center. I think she's going to show me. It's in the center.
Where does it finish up?
In there, at the bottom there. then they're pulled out. There's an example of it. There we have the finished rolls of the different colours: orange, brown, green and blue. And so on this floor, this is a different floor from where we were before. Okay, and we move past those rolls of completed pairs onto the machines that then twist it all together. So this is the one that we'll see in a second. You can see there, and we twist the 4 pair together. So here's another one machine over there that does that. Have a look over here. So there we go. There's 4 rolls. Plus, so they've got 4 rolls plus the crossbar, the separator in the middle. That's that roll there. It then flies this way, so 4 pairs plus the separator are then brought together. There's threaded through here. If you see below, there's insulation, so this is shielded. So there's the shielding at the bottom there that gets added on as well. Gets passed through, and then we get shielding, twisting, the separator and the shielding through, and that's added together, combined together. There's another twist that goes in. And then through this machine onto the drum. So the machine under there finishes the drum, is under actually in that machine there, and these are the finished drums that get pulled out of the machine. Then I say wrapping, I mean the shielding.
Yeah, because the inner wrapping, and then it gets an outer wrapping.
She said it's STP, so shielded twisted pair. So depending on whether you put the shield or not shield, these big boxes here are the rolls.
So these drums
Yeah.
are inside,
Yeah.
inside there.
And then they're rolled out. Let me see if we can see. It's moving quite fast.
This is the inner wrapping.
Okay, so here we are on the next step.
So these
Is the outer jacket or the outer extrusion. So there is what we saw before, was the shielded 8 pair cable. It's passed into the machine. Again, it has some tensioning on it. And here the extrusion, that's the die that adds the jacket on the outside to it. So there's the raw,
that's a coat that's applied.
there's the coating,
Different colour
and looks to be an orange jacket,
customer wants.
and then again into a cooling bath. That holds all the way down the end, and so here is the marking is added, so printing is added onto it. It's a printer.
Printing on there.
So Cat 6, 23 or 24 or whatever, yada yada yada. And then a bath again, cools it right down. All the way down to the end. And then up the top is the capsum, which keeps the in sync with the roller. So they, again, another speed sensor. Passes up the top, across and down, and then it's onto the wheel, onto the roll there. And we've got some orange Cat 6 cable, shielded this time.
Smaller rolls.
And
How big are these rolls?
depending upon
500 meters.
different requirements, different roll size, that's the 500 meter rolls. And then,
And then put here.
and then the next step, they bought off 500,
Yeah.
and then they're cut to the need.
Just cut here's cut the length. Whatever the customer wants.
So we'll grab it. Oh, Starlink, as she's saying.
Starlink.
So they have different requirements, I suspect.
Megawatt.
So if we look down here, is the cutting machines. There's 2, 4, 6, 8 of them, something like that. Again, we've some links to requirement. And there's the cutting stations. And you see different rolls of reds, blacks, and some oranges. Okay, sound on to the quality assurance room, the lab right next to the, on the first floor, next to the factory. So I'm asking what this is. This device actually stretches the cable, applies pressure to the cable to test its characteristics under stretched conditions. That's what we're talking about here.
Are we in the way? So stretch.
Again, stretches the cable and then measures changes in characteristics of the cable when it's stretched. that device there, they can simulate different environments inside the box, and then measure its characteristics change based upon the environment. And there is a spectrum analyzer that looks at the color changes in the casing of the jacket. What they're looking for is consistency in the color all the way through the cable, and so that it doesn't change too much. There I'm saying is a spectrum analyzer.
So it looks for, I think what it does is it looks for the quality through the wire.
The consistency of the jacket color. Some customers want the color of the cable all the way through to be consistent. So they'll sample the cable in different batches. Obviously, you have a potential with batches to have a color change, a slight variance in color, and they want to test it.
I just thought blue was blue. Okay.
So this device here simulates different color temperature light, and then you can test the color under different light characteristics there.
Stretches it out and tests the strength of it.
This is another stretching device. This one looks for before it breaks, so how the tensile strength of the cable. Now over here is their testing, and you'll see here in a sec, is their testing there is still set it up, and then over a certain period of time it'll rotate the cable and look for damage occurs. So you'll see that here. Can they look for failure? And they bend it and look for failure.
It looks for failure.
Now this device is an oven, it's effectively an oven, and what they do is they put the cable in there and they test the environmental range. When you see a cable that has a temperature range, they'll test that cable still operates within a certain temperature range. It's a fancy oven. This is a water bath, so again looking for how the cable behaves for moisture ingress.
Fire resistance.
And then this one is fire resistance, so it tests what happens, the behavior of the cable in a fire. This last one, I know what this is. These are length of cable, and their lengths, and they'll test the characteristics using a fluke tester. They measure the different, so 50 meters, 60 meters, 100 meters,
Test other ones.
and then provides what characteristic occurs. I'm not sure I'm right with that reference, but anyway.
Yeah. 80 meters, yep. 85, 58, 60, yep. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
right. And then they
These
connect
are
the flute
reference ones.
analyzer
Yeah.
and
You
test
get
those
measurements
links.
on here, and then you bring the customer's one and you measure it, and you compare the two.
If you hear that, it also provides reference characteristics against samples. Okay, so now we're in the packaging area. Now this is actually a different building. So the cut legs are delivered from the factory into this packaging area, depending upon the needs of the orders that are on hand. So what we're doing is looking through here. Yeah, so they're delivered from the factory in the links that fill an order. This lady here is just stripping. There's a stripping machine behind there.
Yeah.
And that allows it to be stripped.
So she's stripping.
This gives an exact stripping length for both, for unshielded and shielded twisted pair.
Yeah. That's pulled out a certain way.
And this maintains consistency.
Should always be the same.
Unshielded.
Yeah.
So you see what she's working on is shielded, and she's applying the shield at the moment, I think.
Yeah.
And the shield.
Yes.
You notice the fan, it's about 29 degrees outside. It's quite warm.
Yep. Yeah. So you can feel it. You can feel UTV like that. Yeah.
And there she's working on a gold-plated shield there. Category 8 cable.
I have done this many times. Yeah, I've done it. Yes, I can do it. I can do it. I've done it. I can do this. I have my own. I got a hand crimper and things like that. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes. Yeah.
These are crimpers, single crimpers.
There's a crimper there. Yeah. Yeah.
And here is a multi-crimping machine. The advantage of this machine is that they're all done to a standard specification.
And that's for this particular type of.
This is a custom end. It was shielded
Yeah.
for a
Very
customer's
nice.
own brand.
Very nice. And more expensive, I would imagine. Some,
several stations, crimping stations. This one's for a patch panel and a switch, and so the ends are inverted, as you'll see in my hand.
Like just like that, upside down.
When they invert, they go like that.
That's a patch cable like that. It goes like that. Yeah. For the patch board. Yeah. It goes like that.
In pink. I'm not sure what she said there, but that's alright. So, the next stage, this guy does visual inspection.
So he's doing visual inspection, but there's also a electronic inspection too, isn't there?
So we walk over here,
Yeah.
and we'll take a look at the fluke analyzer. There's a rolling machine there.
Oh, okay. Oh, that makes it easy. Okay, and testing. Fluke testing. These are very expensive machines. Very, very expensive. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
I think she says they do a 5% sampling. So they'll extract cables out of the process and randomly sample. What she's essentially doing is looking for defects in the manufacturing process. So here's another one.
Yeah. Yeah, he's testing them.
So this test, everyone has tested. This is largely a continuity and a resistance testing.
Yep.
The fluke is used for more advanced testing.
Yeah.
So test.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, why not? Yeah. 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 This is why this is so expensive. There's a cheap one like I've got is just continuity, just checks that it's working. This one checks the frequency. Yeah, resistance, loss, all sorts of things, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah.
So again, as I say, roughly 5% are tested this way. And again, against the specification for example, Cat 6. So resistance loss, those sorts of things.
0.4.
First of all, here's my final thoughts. I'd like to thank Sue and the team for hosting me that most enjoyable day at their factory. Have a really comprehensive discussion and tour of their facilities and their products. I found the factory to be clean and tidy and well run, and subsequently I discovered that they actually have ISO 9001 certification for their management processes since 2013, and it's current up to May 2027. They make Cat 5e all the way up to Cat A, both shielded and unshielded products, with their choice of connector that you can use, again both shielded and unshielded. I came to the conclusion that the product that we can deliver is well made and well executed on, and I look forward to visiting on the next occasion. So if you've made it to the end, don't forget to like and subscribe and all that jazz, and I'll see you on the next one.